welcome back to Deal Camp, and this is Matt Duckworth, and what we're talking about here today is mistakes to avoid whenever you're buying a business. And one of the big mistakes that people make whenever they're buying a smaller company is basically buying themselves another job and valuing the business like it's not a job. So let me tell you what that's all about. So the story that I'm going to tell you about today is about one of our clients. His name is Joe. And Joe was a salesperson, really great salesperson, had made a lot of money selling insurance, and he was determined to go out and buy his own company. And so he started to look at businesses and he started to talk to brokers. And one of the things that happened was he met this broker named Bob. And Bob was a long-standing broker, had been doing it for about 20 years, and so had learned how to sell the idea of buying a business. And Bob represented this company that he turned Joe onto, and Bob really sold it well. And Joe liked the deal, and the deal was valued at $1 million. That was the price, and $250,000 was the seller's discretionary earnings. That's important. So $250,000 seller discretionary earnings, and Joe's feeling good about it. He likes the business, so he talks to his CPA. He says, "Hey, I'm thinking about buying this company. What do you think?" Doesn't give the CPA a ton of details, but the CPA basically says, "Hey, Joe, go for it. Just don't buy yourself another job. If you want me to take a look at the deal, I can, but don't buy yourself another job." So Joe's excited. He's a go-getter, and so he's like, "I'm going to make this work. I'm great at sales, and so I can grow this company, so I'm going to do it." And doesn't get a second opinion or anything like that from advisors or CPAs. He just does it and writes the check. So he closes on this thing. He gets in there. He's trying to grow sales, and there's like one thing after another. So equipment's breaking down. He's growing, and so he's got to buy new equipment, and there's just like repairs. He expands the building, and so he's taking all this cash that the business is producing, and he's pushing it back into the business. He's not really paying himself all that much, and this kind of keeps going on. And after 6, 8, 9 months, he's like, "Dang, I'm not taking home that much money." And so he starts like cutting back on staff, and he's like just trying to he's trying to drive more sales, and this business is like really sucking cash. And so about a year in, he goes and visits his CPA, and he's like, "Listen, man, I'm working 70 hours a week. I'm not seeing my family. I'm freaking frustrated that I'm in this position. I thought that I was going to be making all this money, and it's like I can't get ahead." And so the CPA is like, let me just dig through the numbers and like just give you an idea of like where you're at and what it's going to take to get to the point wherever you can pay yourself some good money. And so the CPA does his analysis, and he sits down with Joe, and they kind of walk through it. And at the end of it, what Joe learns is seller's discretionary earnings is not earnings that you can apply to paying your bills. It's a number that backs out depreciation, amortization, and a bunch of other stuff that are necessary for running a business. All of that depreciation is really the cost of financing that equipment over time and other things. And so the CPA looks at Joe, and he's like, "Listen, man, the business was really earning about $125,000, and that's getting eat up by other stuff, including your note payment. And so, man, it was really worth about $500,000. I'm sorry to tell you that." And so Joe, first, taking this $500,000 loss and feeling like he's stuck in it was a gut punch. And then the CPA tells him the next bit of bad news, which is right now you're doing about $1.5 million in sales. You're going to have to go to $3 million to be able to really make this work for you and make real good money. And you're going to have to buy about $500,000 worth of equipment and do $500,000 worth of CapEx to make that work based off what you told me. So double whammy. Now Joe's got to borrow an additional $500,000 or find it somewhere to be able to get to the place where he can even begin to thinking about getting a return on this deal. So he goes from making tons of money, working 40 hours a weekish, maybe 50 sometimes, but making really good money, and being able to see his family at night, all that, to now he's working 70 plus hours a week and he's making less than half of what he was whenever he was just an insurance agent. So the moral of the story is, you got to understand the earnings of the business and this thing called seller's discretionary earnings before you pull the trigger. And if you don't, you're going to end up possibly buying yourself a job. And this is a job that you really hard to quit this one. So don't do that. So what? And who cares? Why do we care? Well, the point of all this is that M&A is a game that requires humility, patience, and you've got to really check your ego at the door if you're going to do this for the long term. It's not a game that you can make a lot of mistakes at and continue to do it. I'm proof of that if you've seen some of the other videos about my backstory. So the good news is there is a recipe, there is a success system that never fails, that allows you to go through a series of steps and buy a great business, run it, grow it, sell it, whatever you want to do if you want to keep it forever. But there's a recipe for it that you can learn, anybody can learn, and it's available to you at dealcamp.co if you're interested. And then check out all of our videos and you'll see lots of great content about how to help you go out and build your wealth. So if you want to learn more about how to buy businesses, how to value businesses, how to grow your wealth through acquiring small and medium-sized businesses, check out what we're doing at dealcamp.co. We've got lots of free stuff that we give away there, and then you can also check around the show notes for links and different offers. And if you've seen a situation like this, please let us know in the comments below of what you would have done in this situation. Or if you have a different experience. Maybe I've not seen everything, so maybe maybe you got a different way of looking at it. We're going to do something special for the first 100 people to subscribe to the channel as soon as it's posted. So if you subscribe, you're one of the first 100 after this video is posted, you're going to be eligible for a free iPhone 13 and a $2,000 training from Deal Camp. So click subscribe, like us, share us, all that stuff. But subscribe now or forever hold your Reese's Pieces.